Hey everyone, BitRecon back with another video on the channel. It's been a while since I recorded my last video. It's been roughly 3 months since I recorded and uploaded entirely. So we're making a comeback here with another, I guess, simulator slash lab. This is zfir.criminton.com. So it is kind of a case lab that we're gonna do. It is through a Linux terminal and it's considered beginner. So I'm hoping this goes easy and smoothly as possible. At the same time, I really don't know what to expect because this is the first time I'm on this website. If you guys are new to the channel, I make online lab videos. Sometimes I'll open a virtual machine and install Flare VM and do some malware analysis. I'm planning on doing that in the future, but right now we have an online lab and we're going to just focus on this series entirely. So this lab is called Midnight Breach. So evidently at 11:47 p.m. you're monitoring your system fires an alert. An SSH brute force is underway on the production web server. By the time you look at your phone, it's already succeeded. Sift through the auth logs to reconstruct the attack. How they got in, how they escalated, what they left behind, and who they're calling home to. So, evidently it's a 50-minute lab. There's 5 flags and you get 500 points. Kind of the incident briefing we get here is that at 1:12 a.m., your phone buzzes with a page duty alert. Unusual SSH activity detected. Web server production 01. You open your laptop. The authentication log shows a spike in failed logs starting at 23:47. Then a successful one. What happened in the 4 minutes after that is what you need to reconstruct. The server is now isolated from the network. Your job is to determine the full scope of compromise before the engineering team can Your job is to determine the full scope of compromise before the engineering team can safely restore service. So we got some objectives here below. Examine auth.log to identify the brute force source IP and attempt count. Trace the privilege escalation method using an initial login. After the initial login, find and document the backdoor account and its persistence mechanism. Identify the C2 domain, port, and communication method from cron entries. Reconstruct the complete attack timeline in seconds. Whew, that was a lot, guys. I hope you guys are ready. Read this before starting it. It provides context and knowledge foundation for the investigation. So basically, SSH brute force remains a top initial access vector for Linux servers. Attackers use automatic tools to spray credential combinations that expose SSH services. Primary authentication log, brute force indicators, high frequency failed password from a single IP, post compromise indicators, new account creation. Evidently, this is our investigation steps. This is what we're going to be following for this investigation. So we're going to identify the attacker IP from failed login attempts, determine successful timestamp and source IP, map all actions post authentication via auth.log, check for persistent mechanisms, identify any data exfiltration via network logs, determine if lateral movement occurred. Alright, we are in. So there's 5 flags we need to recover on the top left. We got our investigation guide right here that we can open and close. So we're basically in a Linux machine. So if we do like help, kind of like it's a customized Linux VM, so it's pretty cool. So we want to identify the brute force attack. Alright, so a command I ran right off the get-go was cat. We're going /var/log/auth.log. So evidently we have an IP address who's trying to log in. So a failed password for individual user Jenkins from 192.168.1.105. We can assume this is the IP the attacker is coming from. So I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna paste it in here. Perfect. So that's kind of what we are finding right off the bat. We can see all these failed password attempts from the same IP with different usernames, different passwords, I assume. Um, yeah, so this is definitely the first brute force attempt. They logged in after the 10th attempt. So, yeah, perfect. The attacker gained a root shell immediately after logging in as the deploy user. What exact command did they run to escalate the privileges? Um, hmm. What did they type right when they logged in? Maybe like sudo? Okay. Oh, we got 3 attempts. We can't be messing around here. Let's see. What kind of what command did they run? Um, let's go to /var/log. Let's see what other logs we can get. Let's go into syslogs. bin/bash as root. Is it this one? Perfect. Hey, we found it. We found what they ran. We found it from the syslog instead of the auth.log. So let's go, guys. We got this. Let's continue the investigation. The attacker created a backdoor account to ensure persistence of access. What is the exact username of the backdoor account found in Etsy password? So if we just do let's do some password. What is the exact username of the backdoor account found in? Wouldn't it just be backdoor? Okay. I see when they mean this lab is too beginner. It's beginner level. So okay, so we identified the C2 infrastructure. So that's nice. We found the backdoor account. So we know it's under backdoor because the account is also named backdoor. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to continue the investigation. As C2 beacon was installed via cron job, what is this exact domain the beacon calls home to? So what's kind of funny is we found this from here. So I assume it's let's see here. I swear we saw it. Something with C2 cron job right here. I assume this is it. This is kind of the attack timeline we found. So let's see here. Okay, so we can literally see if we go back to the auth.log, we can see the attack timeline, the time where it began and finished. So we already found the answer. It's C2 cron beacon started at here. So we're gonna copy this, paste it here. It should let us go through perfectly. Perfect. We got the flag. We're 4 out of the 5 flags. So beautiful. Correct. Identify the C2 infrastructure. Flag captured. Amazing. So what else do we need? Build a complete attack timeline. How many seconds elapsed from the very first brute force attempt to the C2 beacon execution? If I had to guess correctly, how many seconds elapsed from the very first brute force attempt to the C2 beacon execution? 62 seconds. Is that correct? Total elapsed 62 seconds. Hey, we found it. We really didn't have to type that much commands. So, yeah, this case is complete. We kind of found, so some of the things we found, I off the get-go is, we found the IP that the attacker was evidently using to brute force into the machine. So we examined the auth.log, to identify the brute force source IP and trying to see their attempt count with the different usernames and the different passwords. Trace the privilege escalation method. We found this in the syslog instead of auth.log. We kind of found what the command they executed. They used the sudo bin bash command, so that was nice. We found the backdoor account under etsy/passwd. So we found the backdoor account name. So that was also pretty simple because it was literally called backdoor. We identified the C2 domain. So this was also an auth.log for some reason, but it literally listed the domain that the C2 server was using. So that was nice. And also in the auth.log, it showed us how long the attack timeline evidently. So it was only 62 seconds. So go about this. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Stay smart.